Welcome. This might will be your way to make $2 million from Apple by hacking Apple. Very easy. So all you have to do is to be a hacker, an ethical hacker, to know how to hack. And if you don't know how to hack, don't worry. I'm going to make it simple for you. I'm going to give you a roadmap of how to be an ethical hacker. So let's review the different bug bounties, rewards that Apple gives. And the highest you can get is a $2 million bug bounty. And for you to get this 2 million bug bounty reward, you have to take control of the kernel. You have to be the operating system. Because once you take control of the kernel, which is the core of the operating system, you can control the whole device. You can control the user space, you can control user data, you can do anything because you are like think of it like a pseudo user in Linux. Yep. So for example, if you're able to run or execute unsigned code with arbitrary entitlements, for example, an attack delivered via RCS that escapes the blast door sandbox. Let me tell you about blast door. So blast door is a gated or restricted environment where user apps can run and they cannot perform escalated privileges that only the kernel can do. For example, they cannot change security restrictions, they cannot access memory, they cannot do a lot of stuff. And it's limited. That's what I mean. So if you're able to bypass and escalate the kernel from your unsigned code, then you qualify for $2 million reward. Yep. And you can get 1.3 if you are able to read and write the kernel arbitrary. That is an attack which ultimately achieves arbitrary write in kernel space demonstrated using the relevant compage target flag. So this one is not that elevated. So think of compage target flag as a page in the architecture of the hardware or the hardware where the kernel writes, then the user space can access, meaning the apps can read data from there. So only that data can only be written by the kernel. So if you are able to write, then you have done something that is called kernel arbitrary read and write, because the user space can be able to read but cannot write. So that's why Apple is specifically mentioning compage target flag, meaning you can access that flag and you can write into that flag. So this one is not fully an admin, but you can access certain parts that only the kernel can do. So yeah, you qualify for $1.3 million. Kernel register control, an attack which ultimately achieves control of the general purpose register in kernel space. You don't have full access of the kernel, full privileges, but you can access the kernel, and you should demonstrate that by using the relevant compage target flag. So for example, if the compage target flag for the register is, for example, the input output, you should show with examples or a POC that you can actually maybe execute or modify that specific section of the architecture. So we can also see below, before we go to user space, we can see the first one was network attack with no user interaction. So this means you only need to know the user's maybe email or phone number. You deliver the attack escalates, performs unsigned code execution in the various described ways, then you are good to go for up to $500,000. Now, if you're able to deliver or gain kernel privileges, but the user has to do some action. For example, it requires an interaction. Your attack requires interaction with the user. Then you qualify for a maximum of $1 million. Yes. So, let's now review for Meta. How much can Meta pay you for being an ethical hacker? So these are the maximum bug bounties rewards that you can get. For example, WhatsApp private processing. So for this, you need to be invited, I'm pretty sure. So TE, runtime attacks, code execution, privilege escalation, data leaks. The maximum here you can get is 300K. Yeah. So from Meta, it seems the maximum is 300K. So Apple is still the winner. Let's check out this one. Mobile remote code execution. Remote code execution, memory info disclosure, denial of service. Denial of service is pretty interesting because most of the time it's not awarded. So let's check out remote code execution. Major version of Android in simulator and pixel device on iOS that scans by Apple. The press use the ability to execute, not just crash the app. And you can see it actually requires these are native bugs refer to issues unique to language tasks, memory corruption, as well as can lead to information disclosure. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Some of Meta apps rely on C and C++ code, and these guidelines apply specifically to the Android and iOS versions of Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, Threads, and WhatsApp. So the maximum you can get is 300K, even though you submit two vulnerabilities, maybe you have identified remote code execution. Then, as you are still researching, you identify memory info disclosure. The maximum you can get is 300K. Let's read about denial of service. Denial of service will have a maximum payout of £5,000 for persistent. App is enabled and needs a full reinstall or further actions to recover, and $500 for temporary DOS. The app crashes but recovers on restart. We adjust the payout with a multiplier based on clicks for persistent DOS reports, but not temporary DOS reports. DOS against service is out of. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, they have noted DOS against server infrastructure is out of scope. So basically, what this means is you perform the DOS on the client side. For example, you send the user a link. When they click that link, Instagram crashes and is unable to get back up and running. And depending on the number of clicks, as you can see here, we will apply a maximum of 0.5 times multiplier solely within with factors such as risk. Okay. This means if your user has to click 2 times for the DOS to happen on the client side, not on the server side, you don't have to. Don't flood the server. That's against the rules here. You are eligible for a 5K maximum payout. So I think it's worth noting it's better to hack Apple than to hack Facebook. As we all know, Apple is very sensitive. They market their hardware, their iPhones, their platforms mainly with privacy first. That's their selling point. So now I want us to get straight to hacking. How can you start hacking? You can start hacking by doing slightly attacks such as cross-site scripting. So this is an attack where you can compromise a resource through user interaction due to the application being vulnerable. For example, you can be able to write a malicious code in a comment section, which actually sends to you the user tokens every time someone tries to comment. That's a CSS. For example, how does CSS work? We can see that Cross-site scripting works by manipulating a vulnerable website so that it returns malicious JavaScript to users. For example, when a user is searching, for example, there's a lab here that I've chosen. Let me hope it has not expired. So it has expired. There is a lab I had chose that I wanted us to check out. Just a minute. Let's view on labs. They are quite. Why did I click that? Not view on labs. Yeah, CSS labs. Then I want us to go to the one that. Where is it? Cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting. Let me pause and get back to it. Yeah, here I am. You can see I've solved quite a couple. So we have this one. This one is the one I want us to try out. So it's, yeah, there you go. It's reflected CSS into HTML context with all tags blocked except customers. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. You might be wondering what is reflected CSS. So we have several types of CSS attacks. We have reflected, we have stored, and we have DOM. I think it's DOM. Yes, DOM, document object manipulation. CSS. So this lab blocks all HTML tags except custom ones. Custom ones. Let's see how it works. Let me open the lab. So to be able to solve this lab, you have to be knowledgeable in custom tags, which I'm going to show you. And from the custom tags, you should be able to now inject a custom tag and automatically alert documents.cookies. So for you to be able to attack it automatically, you have to be able to know about attributes, element attributes. Let's do this search. Let's see how it works. Tag is not allowed. Okay. Let's, for example, do XSS on mouse over. This is where you can now do alert document.cookie like that. Let's close it. Let's see if it will complain. And by the way, I forgot to reflected CSS is the one that happens on the current HTTP request. Let's see that one. You see it works. You see? Yeah, so that one works. So if you're not sure about the attributes, we have a cheat sheet here that you can make use of. Let it load, then you can see, because I think it's on mouse something. Okay. You can see on mouse. Search here on mouse. That don't require user interaction. Have an error. Where is on mouse? On mouse. Yeah, we have this on mouse over. I think this is the one that I wanted. On mouse over. Yeah, you see? Yeah, on mouse over. So if we inspect this page, and we do XSS, you can see that our custom was added here. So when I hover, that happens. So for us to be able to deliver this attack automatically, we have to add an ID, which is called, should I call it an automatic navigator? Then we need to add one more thing, so that when it's loaded, when we click here like hash when we add hash x, this one is automatically triggered. So we need like tabs. So we need to add something like tab index is equals to 0. So let's copy that. Let's search. Let's put here hash x, sorry, hash x. It didn't work. Let me search XSS. I did. Let's add the tab to something like 1. We see if that will work. Add hash x. It didn't work. There's an issue. Let's try something else. Mouse over. ID was equals to x tab index 1, something like that. Let's see if that works. Not yet. Then it's not working. Let's continue debugging. I know why it's not working. I've used mouse, yeah. Now it should work. Let's see, hash 1, not hash 1, sorry guys, hash x. Still have an issue. Because on over it works. Let me try something else. Info, cars, like that. This one must work. Good. You can see the site is vulnerable. Every time, as long as we are in that current HTTP, we are able to exploit it. So what we can do, we can delete this one. We go to our exploit server. What can I do? I can delete that. It's pretty messed up. Let me see what I can do. I can do XSS. It's not there. Can you see? So guys, let's just copy that link. Yeah, nice. So we're going to go to our exploit server here. I'm gonna do a script. So this is simulates us targeting the user to click it. Then we are gonna do location is equals to our exploit server. I'm not sure. Is it really not our lab? Gonna copy that. So we're gonna which one was the one that we are pasting here? Just a minute. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So guys, remember you have to encode this. I'm going to show you how to encode so that it is not escaped. Yeah, so this query parameter should be like that. So what you're going to do, we are going to copy all of this. We're going to copy all of this, and we're going to go to website. We can let's go to history, click which one would you like. Let's click on that one. We can come here, we can paste. Can we not paste? No, I did not copy. Then we copy it again. We can copy. And then let me send it to a repeater so that it allows me to paste. Yes, like that. Then I should be able to select all this and encode. Where is encode? There's convert selection. Encode key characters. So I'm gonna select from here. Yes, I'm gonna select from there. So guys, I missed something because we need hash. Need hash X. Let me test this if it is the one that will work. Just test it here. It will work. Aha, good. So you can come here to website, replace it like that. You select up to there, and to remove and click. Okay, not like that. Let's encode key characters. We're going to encode key characters. Then we can copy. Then we can paste. Yes, like that. Then we need to close it like that. Let's finish our exploit. Need to be a bit organized. Yes. Let's store it. Value points there. We have an error location. First line script. Let's see. We'll remove the quotes. Let's see. Oh, guys, we are doing it in the wrong place. Should be there. And that should be like that. Let's now click store. Let's now deliver to victim. Add a semicolon to see if that works. Deliver to victim. Not yet. Let's try it again. Deliver to victim. Yeah, there we go. We solved the lab. So I've given you an overview of the benefits of hacking. Showed you the two platforms or two major companies that award hackers, and I've briefly showed you how to try and hack using the cross-site scripting. And that's all. Be sure to subscribe for more content. It's coming up. That's what's up.